Welcome to the Friday morning show. It's another Friday, yo. We're gonna have a party together. It's gonna be so fun. We'll talk about changing relationships and friendships because y'all, this happens. There have been many of these situations in my life, and this is a very important topic for us to discuss because I've noticed a bunch of my clients, a bunch of the women in the Empowered Woman Collective, and a lot of just people that I'm chatting with, this is what we're going through. Our friendships, our relationships, our social networks are changing drastically, and it can be super scary. So that's what we're talking about today. But first things first, you want to talk about my outfit? Well, you know, it's just a nice little pair of black jeans. We've got some black jeans, cute little white top. Haven't worn this in like a year and a half. So I was like, hey, if you're going to be in my closet, I'm going to wear you. So I'm feeling beautiful and elegant and white today. While there's quite a bit of frost outside, you maybe can't tell, but there's a ton of frost out there. So I feel like I'm one with nature today. How are you? Are you here with me live? Comment in, tell me where you're watching from, and share with me, what have you had for breakfast today? What did you eat for breakfast today? Before we dive into friendships, relationships, let's do some self-care and chat about what are you fueling your body with, okay? Hi, Nikki. Good morning to you. Good morning, Devin. Oh, can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. You can't? Oh, man. That's great. Okay, hang on. We've got solutions. Oh, some people have sound, some people don't. Okay, let's do this. Good morning. Can you guys hear me now? Taylor, Devin, can you guys hear me? And everyone else, can you give me a dancing girl emoji if you can hear me? That's how I know that you got this. Dancing girl emoji, yeah. Can anyone hear me? Nikki, you can. You've had coffee, amazing. Good morning, Heather. Thanks for being here. Okay, cool. Taylor, yeah? Oh, we got sad face. Taylor can't hear. Perhaps leave and come back. Yeah, Nikki's got it right there. Leave and come back. Heather, you can hear me. Awesome. Stacy's here. Yay! Okay. Wonderful. Well, hi, Stacy. I'm going to take this off. And if you guys can still hear me, I'd much rather do that because I like to flail and have my space, and these are restrictive to this. So, yeah, I don't want those. Yeah, dancing girl emoji. Thanks, Nikki. Okay, cool. So at least some of you can hear me. That means that there's just a tech problem going on for someone else's phone or laptop or wherever you're watching from. Happy Friday. What have you had for breakfast today? That's what I want to know. What have you fueled your body with today? You want to know mine? Hi, Sarah. Yeah, dancing girl. Yay. So for the past like 3.5 weeks or so, maybe 4, I've been playing around with intermittent fasting and actually using a supplement to help get myself into ketosis. Now, I do not follow the ketones diet. I love carbs and I love sugar, but I wanted to play with intermittent fasting. So for the past month or so, what I've been doing is I wake up, have a cup of tea, and I put MCT oil in it, and I have that, and it's delightful and delicious. And then after that, I fill up one of these bad boys with the ketosis powder that I have, and I fill it with ice and water, and it's delicious, and I love it. And then I don't eat breakfast until like 10:30, 11. And you guys, I've always been a fairly like petite person, but I think I'm starting to get abs, which is brand new. So that's super exciting. So I'm going to keep on this intermittent fasting train and see what happens in the body. Okay. So that's what I've had so far. So Nikki's had coffee. Kelsey says, ugh. I've had peanut butter toast and matcha. Peanut butter toast and matcha sounds amazing. I love peanut butter. I love toast and I love matcha. Big fan. Chelsea is here. Hi, honey. How are you? Awesome. Okay, keep commenting and let me know what you've had for breakfast so you can fuel yourself for this conversation. That's going to be a little, it's a bit vulnerable. I actually had to sort of calm myself before coming on this show, the Friday morning show, because I'm sharing with you something that I don't think I've shared publicly before. It's kind of a big deal. And I'm going to do so with as much respect and honor as I can for the other individual that's part of this story. But I just really appreciate you holding me in love and compassion as I share something that's very vulnerable for me. And I have moved through it, otherwise I wouldn't be sharing it, but it still is a form of grief. So anyways, I'm going to be sharing that with you, okay? Stacy says that she started with a hot lemon, ginger, and honey and salt drink. Ugh, so healthy. And then yogurt and fruit. Yum. Delicious. And Nikki, I usually eat after 12. Cool. So Nikki, you're doing coffee and then eating after 12. Awesome. Are you adding healthy fats to your coffee? That will help your body to keep sustaining itself. So like some butter or MCT oil or coconut oil, I would highly recommend you give it a try if you're not. Okay. As I mentioned before, for the past, like I'd say primarily 6 months to 8 months, a lot of clients that I've been working with, a lot of people I've been chatting with, women that I've been chatting with, have been going through some pretty massive changes in their friendships. And this is a huge deal because our friendships, especially as women, we love our friends, we love our community, and we love feeling like we belong. So if we're having changes in our friendships and our relationships and our social network, it can be debilitating if we don't have the tools to move through it, if we don't understand what's going on. So that's why I feel like this is really important to talk about today. And like I said, I'm going to be sharing. It's a little bit less of a teaching and more of a sharing so that you can hear yourself in my story, and then we can discuss different ways that you can move through that, and I can share the way that I moved through it. Okay. Okay, this routine is supposed to be supported drill. Cool. Amazing. I love that you guys are so into your self-care and your bodies. Amazing. So take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is it in terms of your friendships, your social setting, your network of women in your life or men that is currently in a little bit of change? Now, for some, it might be a big change. For some, it might be little. That's okay. This is beneficial for all. But just kind of keep that friendship or that relationship or that change in mind as I share a part of my story with you. So years and years ago, when I was a kid, I always felt like I didn't fully fit in with my family. I had friends, but I had lots of transitions because I was bullied a lot as a kid. So I would have a circle of friends and then they'd end up bullying me, and then I'd have a circle and And that was kind of the process that I went through, and I never understood it. So I'm actually quite versed on this topic because I've been going through it personally since I was a little girl. What I realized from that is that I've had these segments of social networks that have transitioned and changed constantly over the years, and it's really helped me to understand my role in all of those shifts and changes and how to be within that. So, for example, the story that I'm going to share is I have one wonderful human being in my life, and for the longest time, she was, as they say in Grey's Anatomy, my person. I considered her my rock. She was my best friend. We shared everything together and had such an incredible relationship that was built on so much love and silliness and freedom and fun and joy and all the things. And it was kind of just the assumption in my life that that would always be there because I didn't understand why anything would change. Even though it had in the past, there was something different about this relationship and this friendship that felt like this was there forever. And that's why it really caught me off guard when things started to shift. And we had always lived in different communities, and so it was common for us not to see each other or talk all the time. But when we were together, it was always perfect. It was just perfect. And I think what happened, and this happens in intimate relationships too, I was a bit blinded by the love that I had for her and of our relationship, that I didn't actually see how much we were changing. And this was also at the very beginning of my spiritual growth. Who here can say that they've kind of started on a bit of a spiritual path that has created big changes in their life? Anyone? Put your hand up, or put an emoji in with the girl with the hand up, or the girl with her little hair. I like that one too. If you have been experiencing changes in your life that you can equate to the spiritual journey that you're on, or the spiritual exploration, or the journey that you're on, let me know if that's true for you. So I was at a point where I was Kelsey's like, yup. I was at a point where I couldn't hold myself back from exploring more. I'm still at that point, but this is when it started. I was like, give me more books. I want to watch more YouTube videos. I want to learn more. What is meditation? What is intuition? I really wanted to soak it all in. Yeah, you guys are all in the same boat. Okay. I really wanted to soak it all in, but I still was I didn't know enough. I didn't know about myself. I didn't know how to meditate. I didn't know what my intuition was, or I had an idea, but I wasn't practicing using it. I was very brand new. And because of that, it creates a lot of turmoil inside while we're trying to figure it out. Well, at least it did for me. It can be different for everybody, but I was constantly trying to figure out, like, who am I? How does this work? How do I use this? What do these principles mean? Can I share this with people? And I was just very fresh and new. And because of that, unsure. At this point, this is a big story. Okay, at this point, my social network that I was friends with outside of this person I'm talking about, but my social network was feeling like it didn't fit me anymore because of the spiritual expansion I was having. Then I'd spend time with these friends and it felt like all we were doing was like drinking and complaining and doing things that weren't serving humanity, that weren't serving our community, that weren't making us better people. And I remember being like, oh, like so frustrated because I felt like I couldn't fit in with my people anymore. So in order to combat that, I decided to go visit this friend of mine, this rock, this person that will just always, always, always be in my life and support me. And we had a visit. I think we were together for like 3 or 4 days. I think it was a weekend. And the whole time it was nice, but there was something a little off. Something didn't feel as perfect as it did before. But I just figured, it was around the time when my mom had passed years ago, and sometimes I feel my emotions are different at that time, and I can be more sensitive and a little bit more internal. So I thought maybe it was that, and I just didn't really think much of it, but assumed that's okay. It's just that trip wasn't the best. And so I ended up reaching out and texting and saying, hey, sorry if I was just not fully there. This is what I think might have been going on. And the response that I got, the way that I perceived it, and I don't actually know where it was coming from for her, but the way that I perceived it was attacking. And that I was in a place where I was lost, that I didn't know who I was, that it was really hard to be around me, that this is how I perceived it. Now, please know, like I said, with the utmost respect for this individual, what she shared with me has given me an incredible gift. But at the time, it was friggin' hard. And it felt like that person reached into my heart, ripped it out, and threw it on the ground. And I have been through breakups that feel like a breaking inside of me, but this one was different because it was my best friend. It was my person. And so it was really hard. And instead of dealing with it, I was like, okay, I love you, I respect you, you're an important part of my life. I need to figure my shit out. Like, obviously there's something wrong with me that you don't even want to be around me anymore. So I kind of turned my back to this spiritual journey. I sort of just I kind of just cocooned and was scared and in fear and constantly felt like there was something wrong with me that I didn't know how to see or fix, which was really hard. And I spent about 4 or 5 months in that energy, not reaching out to her, not saying anything, just nothing, just being. Oh, you guys, I see your comments. Yeah, you've been there too. Okay, thank you. I spent about 4 months or so in that cocooning of pain and that I'm not good enough and that the person that I need desperately to love me, that person doesn't, and I don't know why, and it sort of bubbled up inside of me, and I was frustrated, I was angry, I was sad, I was broken, I was all the feelings. And then it started manifesting physically. And I was teaching fitness classes in town, and I think it was 2 or 3 times a week. And I literally, this blows my mind. I would have a smoothie in the morning. I would get in my car and I'd have to drive about 25 minutes or so to get to where I was teaching. And I would start driving. And a few times I had to pull over on the side of the road to vomit everything out of my stomach on my way to teach the class because my body could not handle the emotions that were happening inside of me. I had so much challenge and pain trying to digest food, which is a part of my body's pattern and past, which is why I'm even on this journey to begin with. But I would be vomiting on the side of the road and then going and teaching a fitness class where, do you think I did a good job? Of course not. But I was broke and I needed the money. So that was that, and my physical experience continued, and I couldn't digest anything. I was getting super skinny. This is the same thing that happened to me when I was in New Zealand. If you've read my story on my website, my body was breaking down because I wasn't dealing with the emotions that I felt inside. And I remember going to the doctor over and over, trying to figure out what was wrong. My dad was so worried about me. And the doctor basically just said, well, maybe you've got an ulcer. Let's do a test for an ulcer. Had a scope down my throat, got put out for it, the whole procedure. And in the end, the doctor, this wonderful female doctor, said to me in the nicest way possible, sometimes I just suggest people go to yoga. And that was her way. This is what I perceived. That was her way of saying, girl, you gotta sort out what's going on emotionally. You're physically fine. There's something else going on. So all of this pain, all of this turmoil, I haven't spoken to this person in 4 months. Finally, I'm like, okay, that's it. I got to do something about this. So I call her. Vivid memory in my mind of having this phone conversation. And we created the space where each of us could share exactly how we were feeling openly, honestly, and raw. And we bawled our eyes out. I screamed at her. It was very charged. And about 2 weeks after doing so, and this was like an hour and a half long call, and it was so emotionally intense, and there's so much energy. About 2 weeks later, the pain that I'd had in my stomach, the digestive problems I had had for months, gone. Nothing more. And I had had chronic pain right here in my body for months, and it was gone. Because I finally had the opportunity to just put that all out and share exactly what I've been hiding inside. Now, because of that, we had the intention of kind of just allowing things to go back to where they were before, but I don't think either of us were really understanding how much the two of us had shifted and changed, and that we weren't in the same compatibility that we had been before. And this is not just about my journey too. She was going through her own journey, which I'm not going to share, but there was lots going on for her as well. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to share and why I wanted to share part of this story is because these things happen not because you or they are a good or bad person. I was not a better person for doing a spiritual journey. I was not a worse person for going on this journey. Nor was she. She was not a bad person for texting me and sharing those things with me that felt so like a breakup and like a complete heartbreak. She's not a bad person for that. That's not a bad thing that she did. She was sharing how she felt in the moment. And the way that I perceived it is the way that I perceived it. This is the journey, you guys, that we are all having. Our own experiences and our interactions are actually to serve each other. So what came of it was basically we committed to like continuously coming back together and building this friendship again, but it had shifted. Energetically, the energy wasn't there anymore, and this was before I really knew what that meant, but we could kind of feel that. So we didn't stick true to that commitment, as I'm sure you've experienced as well. And things just kind of dissipated. But what I learned from that mostly is that if your energy is not in alignment with another person, even if it has been for your entire life, it's not a bad thing. It may create experiences of pain or turmoil or chaos or frustration or however you may experience it, that might come up. I had physical body sensations. I had experiences of heartbreak. I had brokenness, feeling alone, depressed, isolated. I had all of that. But without that, I wouldn't have learned how to honor myself by myself. I would not be here giving this Friday morning show to you, sharing myself so vulnerably and openly, and being able to teach from this place of knowing, because I never would have built myself up that way. I would have known that I always had that rock. I always had that support. So when things get tough, I can turn away from the fear and just go to her. Well, when she's not there, now when I turn, what do I turn to? I turn inward. I focus that energy on me. How can I explore this for myself? How can I make me feel better instead of waiting for someone else to do that for me? And this whole time I was with Luke, we weren't engaged or married at this point, but we'd been together for years. And I remember him saying, oh, that's fun. I remember him saying, babe, like, I'm your rock. I'm here for you. I got you. And while that's true to a certain extent, he absolutely is my rock and he does have me. I now know, realize, trust, believe, and want to share that we should never be seeking someone else to make us whole, to fix us, to fill us up. It has to come from here. Because even if someone is giving us everything that we need and want, if we're not giving it to ourselves, we won't be able to receive it. So it'll feel like we're not even getting it. Even if all of that love and appreciation and affection is there, if we can't feel it for ourselves, we can't receive it from others. So when it comes to weathering the storm, actually, hang on, let's just pause. How are you feeling? What's coming up for you within this story? Share with me a thought or a word or something that's coming up for you in the sharing of the story, and then we'll move into just some ways of weathering through these changes, okay? I see a few comments in here. Kelsey, it's like you're reading my mind today. Oh, I love how connected we are. Raylyn, feeling deep into this. Okay, good. Heather, I've been there. Roberta, I've been there. Yay. Not yay, but you can appreciate. You're here with me. Tanny, I'm always trying to understand my body pain and always being tired. I know there's a message in it now just to tune in. Yes. So, Tanny, on my Instagram, I also posted a video today all about tapping into your intuition, and that can be really great for connecting into your body as well. So I recommend you go check that out. I recorded the video about a year ago. I think it was December last year, but you should watch that. I think it'd be really good for you. And it's really short. It's like 8 minutes. Nikki, my best friend of 22 years walked out of my life. It ended up being the best thing for me in my growth. Yeah, so this is the thing. When we're in the emotion, it can feel like I said, heartbreak and pain, and you want to blame the other person. Everything is terrible. But often, well, always, that relationship is shifting and changing so that you can experience something in yourself that you couldn't before. Therefore, it's not their fault. It's not your fault. It's nobody's fault. Nobody's wrong. Nobody's bad. It is what it needs to be for your journey of evolution, for your journey of personal development, for who you need to be. Yeah? It's hard to understand when you're in the emotion. So for anyone who's in it right now, I hear you. I get it. I know. Do the things that you need to do, and we'll talk about that in a moment to help you move through it. But in time, you will see that it's a beautiful gift. Think about all the ex-boyfriends you've had and how grateful you are to not be with them anymore. Now, I love all of my ex-boyfriends for varying reasons, but I know that the person that I'm meant to be with is who I'm with, as opposed to my life with those other individuals. I would be a very different person. It's the same thing. It's all just relationships. Heather, my best friend relationship, I like that, of 23 years came to a sudden halt, and it was around the spiritual journey and my journey of self-love. And I have become my own best friend and love my time with myself so deeply. Heather, thank you for that. Thanks for sharing. It's challenging, isn't it? But it's beautiful at the same time. Joanne, it's like you're speaking right to me. Oh, okay. So I sat for quite a few moments before coming on today and asking myself, this is truly what needs to be shared today, and it felt strong. So thank you for these responses coming in. Raylyn, yes, looking externally was very destructive in my past. It was the aha moment or spiritual awakening and the start of my journey. Yeah, externally we never actually get what we want, ever, even though we keep trying. Kelsey, self-love is complex and challenging. Yeah, it is. And at the same time, simple and powerful. But it's the simplicity and the power that makes it complex and challenging is what I find. Kelsey says, I can relate to having your partner be your rock. This is hard to shift and know how best to dig deeper into self-love. It is, but you're in the process right now. You 100% are. Believe that, know that, and feel that, okay? It's not always easy, but you're in it. And you have support, and that's the number one key. Taylor, familiar. Roberta, my best friend of 23 years has come in and out of my life. That's it. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to talk about that in a sec. Nikki, no safety net provided by others. We need to create our own security within ourselves. Yes, because whoever's been following me for a while, you know, if we can take care of ourselves, we know have so much more to give to everybody else who is not yet in a place where they can create their own safety net. Yeah, that's what being an empowered woman is. It's about everybody. Crystal, hi Crystal. Like this video was made for me. Intuition telling me to go talk to my friend, but this is helping realize it might not be good for us anymore. Okay, so here's a key thing that we're gonna step into weathering these experiences and what are some techniques. This is the teaching component, I suppose. What are some techniques you can use? So Crystal, thank you for saying that. One thing that this actually happened when I had a breakup years and years ago, when this was the man that I believed that I was going to marry, have all my children with, and be with forever. He was also who I was with when my mom passed, which is very emotionally tied with grief and all of the emotions, which was very complex. I remember once we had broken up, I constantly wanted to reach out to him. I wanted to just check in. I wanted to say hi. I wanted to just have a chat. I wanted to go for coffee. I wanted to do all the things. And I had to constantly check in with myself. What is my desired outcome from this conversation? And if my desired outcome was that he would beg for me back, that he would say he was sorry, that he would in any way something for me, I wouldn't let myself reach out. I'm sure a couple times after some wine I did, but for the most part, I was able to refrain myself from reaching out when I knew that my intention for that call was all about me. Because if that's your intention, then that's not fair. You got to deal with that yourself first. And then when you're ready to just show up in whatever is going to occur with no intention, with just an intention of love, then it's okay to reach out and share. Now, like I had shared with my friend when we had that phone call together, I was deep and thick in the emotions of everything. We had the history and the love for each other to be able to have that call together, and she held space for me to express everything, which not everybody is going to do for everyone else. And I'm very grateful that we had that opportunity together. This is it's a touchy subject about whether or not you reach out, but I'd say the number one thing to do first is what can you heal within yourself without connecting to that person physically at all. And this can come into energy work. This can be with some Reiki energy with your own body. I can help guide you through this if that's what you need. But really see what you can take on yourself first and then reaching out in that way. Okay. Now, Roberta, I said I was going to talk about what you had said. So your best friend for 23 years has come in and out of my life. Here's another really amazing thing for weathering the storm. So the first one is really tapping into yourself and asking, what is my intention for reaching out and chatting with them in this way, or yelling at them or emailing them or whatever it would be. The second thing is trust that it's happening as it's meant to. I've had some relationships that were not quite as deep as the one that I've shared here today, but they were amazing and wonderful and fulfilling and so fun, and then came to a halt with a lot of frustration and pain and anger and all of these things. I've had a lot of this in my life. And so we separated. We took space from each other. And within the past couple of years, we've reconnected. And it's definitely not the same as it was at all, because neither of us are who we were. But they've now come back into my life, and I've come back into their life in a way that feels true to who we are today, as opposed to what we had then and who we were then. So remember that these people can also come back into your life as long as you keep believing and trusting and knowing that as you go on your journey, you're just becoming the best version of yourself. And when they're ready to come back into your life, just hold them in that light, that they are an incredible human being doing the best that they can in their life, and that you're doing the same. And if the energies fit, if they fit together, that's amazing. If they kind of just go apart, that's okay too. Just remembering that the universe has a bigger picture for us, a bigger plan for what's going on in our lives, okay? Roberta also says, we grow apart because I had no kids, so I grow to love to be a mom. My boys are my rock. Yeah, your boys are wonderful. Amy, this topic seems to be my life right now and keeps coming up in all sorts of ways, but it scares me terribly, so I just end up going into a deep, dark place, hoping to figure out ways to get out of this mind frame. Amy, have you been here since the beginning? Did you hear about the deep, dark place that I went into? Just so that you have some connection that I've been there too. I hear it. So the first thing is really understanding if you're going to reach out to anybody, what is the purpose or intention behind it? And the next piece is having the faith and the trust and the belief that things are working out as they're meant to, that there is a bigger picture, that there's something for you to gain and learn in this. Those are the first two things I've shared. There'll be more. I'm not sure what they are yet though. Crystal, it's a sister-in-law, so feel I have to. What if it's family? Okay. So family is definitely more complex because we see family all the time, and it's important that we make an effort to be with our family because they are our family. Years ago when I worked at Lululemon in Victoria, they sent me to a training called the Landmark Forum, which I don't think is actually happening anymore. But one of the things that was like a big life, that was my first interaction with life coaching basically. And it's like a big conference where they just do intense, crazy life coaching. And one of the things that they worked on, which I'm not going to pretend that I could even bring forward right now because I know I'm not at that level yet, but one of the things that they brought forward was allowing a person in like split seconds, they were good, to move through the fear and emotion based around connection to family. And for example, this is how intense it was. One woman who had gone through a very traumatic sexual experience in her past, they helped her shift out of that and come to a place where she could be at peace with what had happened and feel at peace with the person who had done the thing to her, which is like mind-blowing. I'm not even sure why I shared that. But coming in these interactions with family, this is the way that I look at it, and this is how I've shifted my relationships in my family. Some of them. There's still some that need some work. Think back to the conscious relationships training that we did in the Empowered Woman Collective. And if you haven't done it, it's there. Go do it again. It's 3 days. It's an incredible training. That's geared more towards intimate relationships. But consider this. Where are you walking into a conversation assuming something from the other person? Assuming that they're going to judge you, assuming they're not going to like what you say, assuming that they're going to make that snide comment that they always make, whatever it might be. You're walking into it assuming that they're going to screw up in a way that's going to frustrate you, which means that as soon as they even almost make that comment, you're ready to pounce and you're already like, I can't believe you. But of course you can believe it because you have just manifested it. You've created that experience. However, if you walk into a situation having done as much self-care, self-love, journaling, releasing, counseling, working with your coach, doing all these things to release your frustration and triggers towards these things, you're more likely to assume that they're not going to do it. But even if they do, you feel so whole and full inside that it does not trigger you as deeply. It is so much easier for you to just let that comment slide off your shoulders. Doesn't mean nearly as much because you are filling yourself up. Thank you, Kelsey. This, Kelsey, I feel like this is what we were talking about earlier though. It all comes back to you, you guys. It all comes back to you because you cannot change someone else's behavior. You can't. Absolutely not. Even if you try, you will fail. You cannot change someone else's behavior. Don't try it because it's also not fair. You're basically making it so that they have to change to be your type of person, and that's not love. That is you wanting them to change. And this has been huge in my relationship with Luke for me to realize, for us to come to a place of peace. When it comes to family members, don't look at how they need to change to make your life better. Look at how you need to fill yourself up more so that you can be around them in any state and still find a place of peace within you. Now, that doesn't mean you have to engage with their nasty comments or with the aggression they bring forward or whatever it is. There's techniques of creating your own boundaries so you don't have to engage with that. But being with them, being in that environment, you got to fill this up first. And when this is full, then that is easier to deal with. Okay? This is a big piece coming up for the holidays. And I've actually been toying around with the idea of doing another free training with conscious relationships, but focusing it more on that aspect. So I'm going to sit with that and see how that feels. If that's something that you want, you can comment in. And I mean, I'm sure if I got a lot of comments for it, I'd probably do it, but but think about that. Where can you adjust yourself to have a bit more compassion? Not that you agree with their choices, not that you agree with maybe the actions they take, whatever it might be. You don't have to agree. But where can you have more compassion? Where can you have more love? Where can you have more acceptance of what it is? So that then whatever it is that they share, whatever actions they take, whatever's going on, you can have more peace within yourself. And if those actions they're taking are something that you need to then take action against or with or whatever it might be, the more at peace you are inside, the more you trust and have confidence within yourself, the more you're going to be in the right mind to choose the next step or the next solution that is going to be beneficial for all. Whereas if you're angry, frustrated, and triggered, you're going to make a choice that is not going to serve the greater good. Yeah? Okay, I see some comments. This is exciting. Crystal says, yep. Kelsey, yeah. Roberta, yes. Taylor, needed this reminder. Yep, you can't control them, but you control your response. Yep, 100%. Amy, yes, family relationships training, please. Okay, cool. Yay. Okay, I'm going to just reel that in and allow that to end here. Oh, Raylan, a big yes to conscious training around family relationships. Yes, please. Okay, amazing. So I'm going to reel this in. I'm going to sit with and decide whether or not it feels right to do that conscious relationships training in the Empowered Woman Collective. I'll let you know if that's happening. If so, it'll be in the next couple of weeks. Bye, Heather. I just want you all to know, I absolutely love offering these trainings. I love offering these Friday morning shows. I love offering my podcast. I love the Empowered Woman Collective. All of it fills me up so much, and connecting feels so incredible. But I want you to remember that this right here is a touch point, and I'm offering what I can in this moment. If you need more support, If you need deeper guidance than what you're receiving from this, I have a plethora of ways that you and I can spend more time together. I absolutely love working with my clients. I love hosting group programs. I love having little retreats, week-long, weekend, weekday, whatever it is. I love offering all of those pieces. Please remember that there is support for you, individualized, in a small intimate group, whatever it is that you need. So please, if you haven't yet, just go check out my website and see how all that feels in your heart. See how it feels for you to actually step into saying yes to supporting yourself in a super big, huge, whole way. Okay? Yeah, Crystal, you get it. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for holding me in such beautiful space so I could be vulnerable and raw with you today. I deeply appreciate it. And it sounds like it was exactly what we all needed to share together. Mwah, mwah. I love you. Have a wonderful Friday. And I can't wait to see you in the Empowered Woman Collective. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Ciao.